of the many, many improvements we've made to the Mark V over the years, going up from the Model 500 to the 510 to the 520, is the addition of T-slots. Not only T-slots in the table, but also in the fence itself. This allows you to attach all sorts of jigs and fixtures and accessories. And because this Pro fence, which is what comes with the 520, has 4 sets of T-slots, 2 on the top and 1 on each side, you can attach this tall fence to both the top and the side. This makes it completely rigid. This couldn't be more stable if they had been molded together. The tall fence, by the way, is an extremely useful jig if you need to make cuts in the edge of a board. You put the board with the face up against the tall fence, and you can run it over the saw blade or the dado cutter to create, say, grooves in the edges for splines. Or if you tilt the table, you could make cuts to create raised panels. I've even used a tall fence as a table, tilting the table up vertical so that the fence itself was horizontal. Let me show you another jig. This is what I like to call an overhead fence. As you can see, it attaches to the top of the normal fence, and it has a piece here which allows you to adjust it up and down, and then a plastic guide. This plastic guide you align with the sides of the teeth on the saw blade so that it will guide a template. This is a template that I made out of MDF and attached it to a piece of walnut. As you can see, there are 5 cuts that I need to make, and I would put this piece of walnut on the table with the template butted up against the guide, and as I guided it forward, the saw blade would cut off the wood dead even with the sides of the template, and I could make all 5 cuts without ever having to change to an angle or change to another setup. It's extremely handy, especially if you're manufacturing odd-shaped pieces like this. Now, I've attached the jig in the T-slots with these T-nuts. These are not really nuts. They're pieces of metal with flanges on them, and the flanges fit in the T-slots. They have 2 sizes of threaded holes. The small one is for a 1/4 inch bolt, and the large one is for a 3/8 inch bolt. If you slide this in a slot and turn the bolt, they tighten right there, as you can see. And you can use either size bolt, whatever suits your fancy when you're designing jigs. But they don't always have to hold the jig immobile, as it does in the last 2 jigs I'll show you. Let me show you one more. This is a tenon jig. The purpose of a tenon jig is to hold a piece of wood vertical so you can saw the ends. I'm cutting slots in the ends of this board for slot mortise and tenons. In fact, I could make a tenon too. All I would do would be to take out the saw blade, substitute a dado blade or a dado cutter, and put rabbets in each side and create tenons. Now, as you can see, this slides back and forth very nicely on the fence, and once again it's mounted with T-nuts. But in this case, I have put a washer in between the head of the bolt and the nut itself, and when I tighten up the bolt and drawing the washer and the nut up, the washer prevents the nut from tightening against the edges of the slot and still lets the nut slide in the slot even though that it's tight against the jig. Now, you'll also notice that there's very little play in this system. I can take this jig and try to turn it sideways on the fence, and you can see I've got maybe, a couple thousandths of slop, but not very much. That's because I can take these T-nuts. Let's see if I can get this jig off here easily. There we go. I can take these T-nuts and turn them slightly as I tighten them up so that they ride against the sides of the slots and take all the play out of the system. Pretty cool, huh? If you like either of these three jigs, any of these three jigs that we've shown you, the plans for them are right on the blackboard, just to my left, your right, over there. Just scroll down and you'll find three downloadable plans for the tall fence, the overhead fence, and the tenoning jig. And if you like the ideas that we've put into this video, we have a whole lot more of them in this DVD. It's called Upgrading the Shopsmith Mark V 500 to 510 to 520. And for a short time, it's free with any of the upgrade packages, either the 510 or the 520. And of course, with those upgrade packages, you'll also be getting tables and fences with T-slots. I'm Nick Angler. Keep your corner square.